So, jumping ahead a little bit, you mentioned dropping out of high school, and um, that's a that's a very relevant topic here. And like,
I
I
can
mean,
imagine.
not very many people do, but a lot of our community like thinks about that and like finds the
At the very least, you think about it a few
yeah,
times.
finds the education not really like supporting their dreams. So for you, like, do you remember the day that like you decided to drop out and what that was like? Like, what was the
Yeah,
process?
for context, I credit my high school with a lot of my success because here's the weird thing. I quit it. It's kind of, I mean, I'm not going to make a comparison here, like dot to dot with Steve Jobs, but he talks a lot about like he dropped out of specific classes and he wanted to learn about typography. It was very similar to me. Like I loved my high school because first of all, I made a gigantic effort to get in. So it was a high school that you had to take an entry exam, and I was kind of obsessed with being in the top position of the entry exam, like getting the most points. And it was four subjects: math, um, language, history, geography. And then each exam gives you 50 points. And then this was supplemental to elementary school. So you already had to get started with training for these exams. Later on, I learned that I think there is a similar um, dynamic in the US with regards to the SAT, where like people are thinking way ahead of time and so on. So we knew that we wanted to do that. My parents were like, my dad specifically was like, "Whoa, that sounds awesome! Like people that go to that school like learn lots of things that you're never going to learn at any other school." And this school is actually a public school, which is also really awesome. Like you had to like really work hard to get in, but and it was called an experimental school. So what they would do is they would give high school students access to college level professors and subjects, as well as exams. So that school really opened my mind to lots and lots of things that I still use every day because they taught us everything from like chemistry, physics, accounting, mathematics, calculus, like early on. And I loved it. In the first year, I loved it. I studied really hard. I got into the school in one of the first positions. But then when I was in, I was continuing my MO of I'm gonna try to get every point, right? And that literally lasted 2 quarters or less, because then I discovered a new system of points. Quite clearly, I discovered that I could work online
Mhm.
and make money, and or contribute to open source projects and so on. So like I had this like crazy two competing systems. I cannot be the best student that gets the most points, because actually once we got in, it
Yeah.
was also pretty freaking hard. So the entry exam was hard, but like after you get in, there was no like free ride either. So what I started doing was like I was paying attention a lot in class, and I was trying to like get good enough grades in the exams without having to study at home, because all my time at home was for working with my crazy clients in the Netherlands, and all these clients that I started getting for like development and doing freelance work. And also like the economy in Argentina was kind of like collapsing at the same time. So I was starting to make money for my family. So I had all these competing sort of problems. And obviously the story goes like obviously tech and work and open source won, so much so I didn't even get the degree. But what I want to say too is that sometimes you hear these stories of like, oh, ex high school dropout or college dropout. And I think sometimes like not enough credit is given to like lots of amazing things that you can learn that I don't know that you would necessarily learn on your own. But yeah, like to go more concretely to your question
Mhm.
of like the specific time that I dropped out, Mootools was a defining moment for me. Like this library was starting to get used by lots of important companies. And that hadn't happened a lot with me before. I had written a pretty cool plugin for an ORM in PHP, but I had never had this scenario where like companies are reaching out to me to try to hire me. Facebook tried to hire me when I was 17. Um, but one company that did hire me that kind of took a chance was a company in Switzerland, a startup. And that was kind of where like I kind of like forgot about the rest of the world. It's like not only because it was kind of my ticket out of Argentina, I didn't think of it that way. I was like, this is my ticket into like a whole set of amazing new experiences. And I was like, see ya, everybody. Like, I literally told my mom one day, Mom, I'm going to Switzerland in 2 weeks. You have to sign here, because I was under 18 at the time. So props to my mom that she's always tuned in with all these crazy ideas, because she was like, all right, I get it. Like, it's not crazy stuff on its own. It's like, actually, you're going there, a company's using your project, they are needing to hire people that are experts in this framework, and you're one of the contributors to the framework, so you're an expert. And that was kind of the moment where it was like, oh, so high school, I'm gonna start skipping exams. And yeah, it just, that's probably, even I probably never even looked back from them.
Yeah, yeah. The Yeah, I totally understand that feeling. I remember when I was in 10th grade, I got a scholarship to go to ReactConf in San Francisco, and that's actually where we first interacted. And it was my first time going to the West Coast, and I went to San Francisco with my dad, and like going to a tech conference, and it
Yeah.
was just like it was so kind of validating of like that anybody like cared about anything that I did, and also just like really eye opening of like seeing what the tech world looked like and everything.
I
Uh,
had a very similar experience like that. Like, Richard Stallman, the creator of GNU and the creator of Emacs, which I don't love, I love VI, was speaking in Argentina. And he's a super controversial figure, and he's even become more controversial in recent days. But like, when that happened, it was like a big deal for Argentina. Like, oh wow,
mhm.
this guy like is coming to give a talk here. I had that same experience. I went with my dad to the conference, and I got to meet some of the people that I had already been chatting with. And it was a very, very validating experience. So, that kind of taking it into the real world is very, very important. You have to also take that leap of faith outside of just, being a nickname online. Yeah.